Yo, 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 YouTube. Welcome to the BK Lounge. It is Thursday, November 7th, 2019. Happy Friday Eve to you and yours. The weekend pretty much upon us, man. We've got NFL going on right now. It's halftime of this Chargers-Raiders game. Pretty good game in the first half. Got some college football, and we were inching closer to maybe the best college football Saturday of the 2019 season so far. And, of course, a big game coming up in Austin, Texas. We're less than 48 hours away. Kickoff between the Kansas State Wildcats and the Texas Longhorns. Both of these teams tied at 3-2 in Big 12 conference play this year. K-State 6-3 overall. K-State 6-2 overall. Texas 5-3 overall. Wildcats come to town riding a 3-game winning streak. Meanwhile, Texas trying to get back on track after dropping 2 of their last 3 games. Of course, the Horns coming off of a bye week. And we'll start right there. An injury update from Tom Herman, who was available to local media here in Austin tonight. Tom Herman, all positive signs on the injury front. It sounds like Caden Stearns, B.J. Foster, DeMarvion Overshone, Jeffrey McCulloch, and Jordan Whittington are all going to be good to go. They've all been cleared to play for the Longhorns against K-State on Saturday. Now, Tom Herman did say those guys are still dealing with some pain, and they'll have to monitor kind of how they're doing during the game on Saturday, but it appears those guys are all going to be dressed out and good to go, at least at the start of things, against the Purple Cats. By the way, the live chat is open. If you're watching this via YouTube Live, feel free to comment whatever you've got, and I'll read some of those chats during this video. And if you're watching this after it's already been posted, feel free to comment below. I will respond to those in a timely manner, as timely as I can. And like and share and subscribe to this channel as well if you would be so kind, and if you're a fan of Texas Longhorn football and basketball and baseball, just all things Horns, a lot of coverage all year long. So good news on the injury front for Texas. And look, this defense is getting 4 very important guys back. I think it starts with Caden Stearns. You know, we've seen this defense struggle with B.J. Foster, with Jeff McCulloch, and with DeMarvion Overshone. But Caden Stearns, a freshman All-American from a year ago, one of the best defensive players in this conference. Just having that dude back, even if he's not 100%, just having his presence on the field not only helps the secondary, but I think it helps all 3 levels of this defense. I'm excited to see him. It's been a while since Caden Stearns has played. This guy is a difference maker. He's an absolute impact player. And look, there's no more excuses for Todd Orlando at this point, right? Because you've got guys back. Injuries are not really a problem going into this game. I know Chris Brown's still out, and you've got a couple of other pieces that won't be available, but you've got just about everybody you expected to have going into the season. They're going to be good to go on Saturday against Kansas State. The injury excuse, which has been used a lot by coaches, by fans, by whoever, not really a thing against Kansas State on Saturday. You're the much healthier team. You're coming off of a bye week. Meanwhile, Kansas State is the team that's a little bit banged up. Their number 1 cornerback, A.J. Parker, fractured his foot last week. He won't be able to go. K-State's got a couple of running backs who missed the Kansas game who won't be 100%. So the Wildcats are the more banged up team, which that's a nice change of pace, right? It feels like Texas has been more injured than just about everybody they played over the last month or two. But just about everybody's back. And then Jordan Whittington on the offensive side of the football. I'm not sure what to expect from him. I don't know if he plays more than 10 to 15 snaps, if we're being honest. But true freshman, was awesome in spring football and in the spring game. One of the highest recruits in the class of 2019 for Texas. I think he's going to be a great player during his time on the 40 acres, but I'm not sure what to expect. I don't think they're going to rush him into anything in game 1 against a very, very physical Kansas State football team, but hopefully you get some snaps, some touches on Saturday just so we can see what he's got and potentially another weapon for this Longhorn offense in the final month of the season. A couple of things to get to in tonight's video. We'll start with the line, the Vegas line on this game. I think I talked about this a little bit in yesterday's video, but Texas is now a 7-point favorite against K-State. The line opened around 5.5 to 6.5, and now the Longhorns a full touchdown favorite against the Wildcats. Like I'm going to tell you why that's not good news. And it really doesn't have anything to do with Texas. This just has everything to do with K-State. Look, Vegas is Vegas for a reason. Vegas exists for a reason. The hotels and casinos, they don't build themselves, right? They're generally accurate on these games and on these lines. But Kansas State has given Vegas a very, very tough time this year. Kansas State is beating the average Vegas spread by an average of 11.8 points per game. That means they're covering the spread by an average of 11.8 points per game. So Vegas just hasn't had a beat on K-State all year. That's the third highest total in the country. I think Ohio State is number one. And man, they can't make lines big enough for the Buckeyes right now. They're killing everybody. I think Navy is number two. And Kansas State, they're not only beating teams, but they are covering the spread. And they're not only covering spreads, they're covering the spread by double digits, game in and game out. So K-State's been very impressive. Chris Kleiman, first-year head coach coming from North Dakota State. I thought he was a great hire. I didn't think he'd have things figured out this early. Matter of fact, we had Kellis Robinette, a guy who covers K-State for the Kansas City Star and the Wichita Eagle up in Kansas, and he even said, I don't know if anybody expected the turnaround to happen this quickly up in Manhattan, but it's worked, especially over the last 3 weeks. K-State on a 3-game winning streak, and they've looked very, very impressive against the same 3 teams that Texas has played over the final month of the season. K-State 3-0 in those games, Texas just 1-2, and of course the one win was a win against Kansas in which the Longhorns needed a last-second buzzer-beating field goal from Dicker, the kicker. So it seems like these teams are trending in the opposite direction. And, man, I kind of wish the Vegas line was up at 12 or 13 or 14 points. So even if K-State kept that stat alive, then Texas would still find a way to win this football game. By the way, the over-under win total for K-State going into the year was 5.5. And they've already won 6 with still a month left in the season. So Vegas has been dead wrong on K-State all year, which that's not the number one thing that scares me by any stretch about Kansas State going up against this Texas team, but it doesn't make me feel better about the Longhorns' chances this Saturday. I got a lot of comments. We'll get to those in a second, guys. I appreciate the love. And actually, CB, one of the comments is in relation to something I posted on my Twitter account at Brad Kellner earlier tonight. The coordinators were made available to local media last night, Wednesday night here in Austin. And